We're going to now head to the northern part of Virginia, in Leesburg, Virginia, with a gentleman, Mr. Al Barney. Now, just getting to know Al actually through Paul Richards. And if you think of Paul today, say a little prayer for him. He's having a dental implant redone that he got 4 or 5 months back, and putting a crown on or what have you, and it completely broke off. So poor Paul is under the chair and under the knife and probably in la la land asleep right now. But just say a little prayer for him, as he couldn't be on. But kudos to Paul as well, with 35 or 36 personals already. So he's just pounding and not quitting. So through Paul comes a good friend of his, Mr. Al Barney, that doesn't live too awful far away from him. And I've been hearing of Al for a few months now. And this gentleman, friends, take some notes. This is a traditional business owner that owns not one, but 2 businesses that do several $1 million a month in business. A little more, I believe, in the construction type arena, and some things he may share a little bit of that. But here's a person that probably does not need live good, if it's safe to say, with the income that he has, and the business he was telling us before we went on air. He's got over 100 employees in those couple businesses. So I'm super anxious and excited to take a note or two in hearing from Mr. Al Barney, what he sees in Live Good, why Live Good, and just Mr. Al, will you take it away, please, sir?
Hey, thanks, Carl. Thanks for everybody joining the call. I think Carl's one point said, I don't need Live Good. I actually do need Live Good. I'll explain why I need it. The products are phenomenal, first and foremost. And I wasn't sold on the product until I started using the product. And I started using it right away. But before I even talk about the product, I guess I talked to Paul Richards, who's been a pretty good business associate of mine for a number of years now. And, you know, we get to talking about a lot of different things, Paul and myself. But the bottom line is, I call myself a serial entrepreneur. Okay, there's nothing special about who I am or what I do, but I couldn't fail. I didn't see failure as an option when I got started. I was a chef originally. I worked in the restaurant industry in Northern Virginia, got to Northern Virginia back in 1991. I was opening up somebody else's restaurant called Boston Chicken, which became Boston Market. So I'd never been in quick service industry. I'd always done either fine dining or institutional or large hotels. That was unique. That was someone else's dreams to everyone else I'm speaking to. That was not my dream. I walked away and I started a full-time business. And someone said, well, how do you start a full-time business and you didn't have a business? First of all, everyone on the call, I never knew anything about construction. I told you I was a chef. So today I'm a Class A license. My business is 29 years old. That is the first company I put together. We are based in Loudoun County. And I will say I do have a little bit of a gift of being able to draw and sketch, and I could probably draw and sketch almost anything very quickly. So that obviously has helped me, but I grew a business way beyond that. So that little company, that does about $3 million a year. But the most fortunate thing I will share with everyone here, we closed 2022 with 2.9 million, and we opened the new year up with 2.6 million on the books. So we'll clear 5 million this year without even thinking about it. And the worst of what we say, the economy's bad. So the economy's bad if you allow it to be bad. If you just keep doing what you do and be persistent. And again, it is 29 years. We don't market. We don't advertise. I don't have a job sign. I don't have a work sign. And I got a couple of my employees are actually on the call. They would vouch for me to tell you that we don't have job signs. All of our work is from our existing client base. Back in 2006, I was asked to help a buddy. We had a startup, a voice and data telecommunications company. It's called Secure Network Solutions. We didn't have a brand. It was just me, him, and a couple other guys that put up sweat equity. He asked me if I was willing to invest in the company. He had other investors that had more money than I had, but he trusted that he wanted to work with me. He and I worked at Boston Chicken together. We both went separate ways. He went to Virginia Beach. He then called me after years of staying his friend. He said, well, what can you do, Al? He said, I got $500 to $1 million offered. I said, I only got 250. I can't tell you where the other 250 or $1 million is going to come from. I don't have it. He said, but I want to do business with you. He says, because I like the way you run business. So without further ado, I put my money where my mouth is. I took 51% of that company. I tried to bring a business partner into my company, the construction company, and I had a great opportunity, but the gentleman died suddenly of a massive heart attack at 37 years old. We were about 9 months into the acquisition. And so it put me, obviously that was a major setback personally, but the business was still set up. To move that business forward, to just give you guys an idea, within 1 year, we had about 50 to 60 employees. Today, we've gone up to about 120 employees for that one company. We employ somewhere between 80 to 100 at any given time. We are what they call self-producing. We are not hiring a bunch of subcontractors to do the work. These are employees. We do trenchless technology, where we got those big rigs on the side of the road that do directional boring and drilling. We do a lot of the universities and colleges. I did say I'm in Northern Virginia. This business is based in Chesapeake area. That's where the office. Those who know Virginia, we call that Hampton Roads or the Tidewater area. So that's where that business is located. We do about 12 to 15 million in that business. That is the lifeline of my income, not the construction company that I just mentioned, because I'm paying benefits, insurance, everything that's associated with running a company. It pretty much happens out of the Chesapeake office. I also have a third business, which is more of a B2B concept, and that's where the Envirotech, clean air products. We have a lot of different products that we represent, mostly to business owners. We've got some technology that we've built. We have 2 apps that we own. We have the first smart city app in the Northern Virginia area. We also built an app that supports contractors, a bit like Angie's List, but it's on steroids, because we have pre-vetted projects where they're not guessing where this work is going to come from. They're not guessing if it's a contract. They are legitimate contracts that we can hand off, and we skim from those contracts. So those are the things I do daily. My wife is a huge part of the success of all of this. So she's behind the scenes. She's able to kind of run some of the office. I've got architects, I've got designers. I run the construction company. Craig runs the network cabling company. So I don't actually go to my office in Chesapeake. I have not been there in over 4 years now, not step foot. But I do, share emails. There are lots of bank information requirements that are done all the time. There's a lot of guarantees that I'm signing off on and projects that I have to sign off on. But that's what I do every day. And someone said, well, why would you want to do Live Good? With everything that I do, I want everyone to listen to me. And I do well. There's no doubt, not to brag. I'm a very simple guy. But I will tell you that out of all these years in the construction industry, if you have a job, you only have that job until you complete that job. When that job's done, whether it's a voice and data telecommunications job, whether it's us building out some of the biggest projects that we do in the construction field, when that job's done, I got to go find another job. We've been fortunate enough to keep that wheel running pretty seamlessly. And someone would say, well, I would love to see, I believe that network marketing is still a very viable business model, that it's easy to get into. Usually you need the right product. And I think that Live Good matched that for me. And it didn't have to be so hard. So to give you guys an idea, I probably work about 6 to 8 hours a week in my Live Good business. I jumped out running right away with it. And then I had to take a little break. We had some personal stuff happen with family and just trying to get my bearings back. So basically took about a 2.5 week little break, and we are back online right now. So some of my people are on this call right now. That's why the phone's loaded up with extra bodies right now. So we have a goal for Heidi, who's on the call, and I'm sure at some point you guys will all hear from Heidi. She's a dear friend of mine. We're going to make, I'm not looking to go to Diamond right away. I would like to think that I'd make Diamond before the year is out. We want Heidi to make Diamond in 90 days to show that it can be done. And so I've got a pretty vast network of, and what am I going to do to help Heidi get there? Premier Home Services has been around for 29 years. I'm going to reach out to my contractors. And so as we are deploying our software, we're going to talk about having contractors learn to create passive income through Live Good. Secondly, I'm going to go back to my clients, which I have a database of close to 1,500 people that we've worked for over those years. And we're going to share the product side to them with a highlight on the financial side. So again, we're going to use the contractors for passive income plus product. That's the second part of that. And then with the customers that are my customers, I don't want them to think that, hey, I got to make money off you by joining this network marketing group, right? They might see that as a little weird. But how many people, especially most of my clients, people that I do work for, they're in the upper income of life. Northern Virginia and Loudoun County, if you don't know, it is the highest, it's the wealthiest county in the country with a household income of $142,000 per household. We have had that record for more than 16 years running. We're also the fastest growing county in the country. There's a lot of great things that happen here. We have a lot of disposable income. My average client is sitting in about a $1.2 million home. And so for me to reach them and try to talk about making a few bucks, that's not the gist of this here. But they know me, they trust me, and they'll trust my team. So we want to tell a story when we reach out to those folks. These are a lot of what we call government beltway bandits. If anybody knows about the Washington, D.C. area, a lot of these folks are running around working for the federal government or supporting the federal government in some shape, way, or form. And the pay is usually pretty good, guys. Not necessarily with the direct government, but even those folks can do very, very well. It's a lot of these contractors, and that's who we do business for. There's a ton of them out here, and they've trusted me for many, many years, and I'm trusting that Live Good will do what they're supposed to do beyond just sitting in the matrix. Because yeah, I could sit in the matrix and say, yeah, I'm going to wait for spillover, but I do believe if I create my spillover, I can help other people. And just to let everyone know, I've more than got my money back. So when I look at your sheet, Carl, I did that in the first week. Okay. So I jumped on fire, and then I in the first 2 weeks, and then I had to lay low. But I'll tell everybody that's on the call listening to me, I sat on this for the first week and a half. And I did at least 40 hours of due diligence to try to find out who this guy Ben was and who his partners were, what the company was all about. I'm not a network marketing guy. If I'm going to share it, I wanted to feel comfortable that I could share it with people without being stressed on, the number one question, is it going to work? You know what? For $50, if it ain't work, call me back and I'll give you $50 back. I mean, is that too difficult to ask somebody for $50? And we all know, I mean, all of us have blown $50. I've got other contractors on the phone from Tennessee. I've got folks that I've known. We are going to take this to the house, guys. Live Good is here. We're on very, very early. If y'all don't understand this is extremely early in the market. And so I feel good about who we are and what I'm dealing with and the team that I've surrounded myself with. So, Carl, I appreciate the opportunity for you to allow me to share my story of why I chose Live Good. Thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you, sir. Honored to get to know you. Amazing, amazing. I love his language, friends. He's already using we. Live Good in him as a we. A lot of times you hear people talk about, well, the company does this or the company. He's already mentally bought in, and that's a we. So he's already an ownership mindset with Live Good, and that's huge. That's passion. And then he also mentioned something that he doesn't have the luxury of, is a repeat business in the sense of year after year after year of passive or residual income. So that's amazing when somebody has that kind of vision to think forward and what he's going to do. And we look forward to great things out of that team. And I believe he mentioned Heidi as well. So I look forward to that.